Okay, I genuinely feel like a lost cause at this point because I keep going on dates with guys and there will be nothing wrong with them necessarily. They'll be nice, we'll have good conversation, but there's nothing there.
You're dipping into the Kool-Aid and you don't even know the flavor.
I have no interest in wanting to really see them again. Even like in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, they'd be a fine friend because they're kind, but there's no spark. Like, does anybody relate to this? Like, I genuinely don't feel any sort of wow with anybody.
That's true.
Ever. And I don't know. I feel broken. I feel like I'm broken.
I feel broken, she says. You know, guys, this is the story of many modern women out here in dating today. They've been through so many situationships, so many relationships, so many bad boys, that nothing makes them excited anymore. Nothing really gives them the butterflies. And this is one of the many reasons why dudes are walking away from dating and walking away from marriage. Because honestly, guys, these girls, when there's nothing there that interests them, when they get bored, they figure, oh, well, I'm just going to replace the guy. I'm just going to move on to the next relationship. And, you know, there's no talk of sacrifice. There's no talk of long-term duty, guys. It's all about what gives her the butterflies in the moment. Now, we have covered this woman's clip, I believe, at some point earlier on the channel. I'm not too sure, guys, but I think it was important to bring it up once again as we go over today's TikTok videos. So what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video, and on today's show, guys, we are going to be breaking down some clips demonstrating why men are no longer choosing to get married. Before we jump into it, guys, if you're new here, you're liking the videos, remember to subscribe on your way in, and as always, guys, come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description in case Susan decides to boot us, off of YouTube. I'm going to be moving archived videos and the like over there slowly off of YouTube. So guys, let's jump into this TikTok one more time. Remember to leave your thoughts and your comments, and let's take a listen.
Hey, I genuinely feel like a lost cause at this point because I keep going on dates with guys and there will be nothing wrong with them necessarily. They'll be nice, we'll have good conversation.
So there's nothing wrong with the men. This is a really interesting thing to note, guys, because I see a lot of men who go out here and they just get absolutely rolled in dating and they think that it's necessarily them, right? A lot of the times when I see it, it's really not the men. These girls will literally ditch dudes because, oh, he didn't say the right things, he's not tall enough, he doesn't make enough money, any sort of criteria is used these days to dismiss men. But if you do the same thing to women, guys, they lose their minds. They're like, oh, you're objectifying me. Okay, it's perfectly fine for these girls to judge a man based on his wallet or whether or not he's too boring or he's too nice or all this kind of crap. But the moment you bring up, I don't know, a girl's hair color or anything like that, oh, you're objectifying me, right?
But there's nothing there. I have no interest in wanting to really see them again, even like.
And she's gone on many dates with this attitude, guys. So she says at the beginning, okay, I keep going on dates with men, right?
In my head, I'm like, oh yeah, they'd be a fine friend because they're kind, but there's no spark. Like,
yeah, it's almost as if kindness makes you a friend. It's always interesting when girls are outlining what they find attractive, right? And I was actually going to bring up a post from our favorite awful subreddit called FDS later today, but I think I've lost it. But it was like, you know, girls, what do you find attractive? What do you need in a man? And they all said, oh, kindness. I just want a guy who's kind. Really? Because those are the men that you delegate to being friends with. Okay, what they say and what they do are two entirely different things.
Does anybody relate to this? Like, I genuinely don't feel any sort of wow with anybody. Ever.
You know, it's interesting to think, guys, that a lot of these girls think that relationships are built on the foundation of needing to be wowed every second. right? How about just getting along with someone, having nice but see, notice how everything has got to be like a dopamine spike, like, oh, it's got to be interesting, right? It's got to be engaging. Sometimes relationships demand sacrifice. You want to talk about marriage, you want to talk about being a wife, being a long-term girlfriend, these things require sacrifice from both parties. Okay, but none of the girls want to sacrifice, guys. They want to feel the, the butterflies go on for years, and then they just break up with their husband to secure that extra money because they don't feel the butterflies anymore. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. I feel broken. I feel like I'm broken.
I feel like I'm broken, she says. But guys, let's jump into some of these TikToks that I have on hand. And I must warn you, because I'm pretty sure today's quite headache-inducing. Let's take a listen.
If you think some of my videos are ridiculous, you should see some of my life choices.
What do you want to find a man for? It will only give you problems. Stay single as long as you can.
Y'all gotta stop saying y'all be wanting to know when y'all boyfriend's cheating on y'all, because y'all really don't. Last time I tried to tell a girl, I tried to show her a girl, because like he had messaged me, you get what I'm saying, and I could tell he wanted to boom 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 for me, because I had boom 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 for his friends before, and they be passing me around. Well, I made my rounds, you get what I'm saying?
What on earth did I just listen to? So this woman is trying to highlight to a girl that her man is cheating because he wanted to link up with her, she thinks in her mind, okay? It's funny to me, guys, when I hear about this. A lot of girls, like, they say that they hate liars, they say that they hate cheaters, they're looking for a loyal man, one that won't step outside of the relationship. But have you guys noticed how, they'll say these things, but then girls will consistently end up with men who are cheaters, who are consistently lying to them, and then they'll go, oh wow, I never understood, right? Well, how come I keep, what is with all these awful men? Men just absolutely suck. I believe in love, but all of these men, they just won't take me seriously, or they'll go out and see other girls and not talk to me, and all this kind of crap. It is entirely predictable. Okay, I saw someone in the comment section the other day say, I was saying that girls need to choose better men. And someone in the comments highlighted that, these girls, they view any man that doesn't give them what they want as a word, right? Abusive, okay? It's really interesting how these dynamics work, guys, because they can't see it, right? You can tell them that their man's cheating and all this kind of crap, but guys, I tell you what, the recidivism rates that these women have to cheaters is pretty astounding.
So I knew he wanted some of this little pussy, but I'm like, but I knew the girl. Like in school, like we were school friends. Like we didn't hang out outside of school, but she was my school friend. Like that was my bitch in the hallways. You couldn't tell me shit. So
and notice how, okay, she just said, if you missed that, guys, she would have hooked up with this guy if she didn't know the girl previously. I think maybe she'd still hook up with the guy, okay? But like she'd still get with a dude who had a girlfriend. You see? Like, man, it's really weird how, dudes will be... A dude who is married, for example, compared to a dude who is not married, assuming everything else is identical, the married man is more attractive to women, right? They want the dude that already has women around them, and then they complain when they all compete for the same guy. It's like, what did you expect? You're literally forcing the dynamic, and then you complain about the exact same thing.
As we hit that parking lot, bitch, I don't know you, and you don't know me neither. Anyway, so I knew her from school, so I'm like, okay, mind you, I graduated school 2017. So I know it's been 5 years, but still, I felt like we had a bond. So I wrote her and I showed her. I'm like, girl, get your like, I'm joking. I'm like, girl, get your out my inbox, bitch. She told me she wanted to link up at the park and rumble. I didn't even this man yet. You want to rumble with me because I thought it was girl power. Okay.
Yeah, no, see, this whole like girl power thing, right, about like girls sticking together and like, oh, it's all about the sisterhood. Like these girls backstab each other so quickly, man. I have made this point many times, but like I encourage you guys, if you got like girlfriends that you can ask about this, ask them what they think about other girls' loyalty and whether or not they get stabbed in the back by their female friends. Oh yeah, all the time, guys, all the time. Right, girl power is just this stuff that they try and say. Like, it's funny to me watching them like fight over a guy, because the way that they do it is they just take attacks at each other's reputation usually. Like, oh, you don't want to deal with her, she's ugly, right? Or guys, I remember distinctly when I was younger, this girl sent me like a photo. Like, I was messing with this girl when I was younger, right? And this other girl didn't want me to, so she sent me a photo of the other girl without makeup and said like, oh, look how bad she is without makeup. I'm like, aren't you two like kind of friends? Don't you know each other? Like, it just doesn't matter, guys. Like, that's the first thing that they attack, is just like each other's appearance or reputation. It's absolutely wild.
You want to rumble with me because I thought it was girl power. Okay.
Happy Valentine's Day from your hating bitch over here. Someone asked me today, Fia, why don't you like Valentine's Day? Well, there's a list of reasons, but
yeah, I'm assuming they all have names rhyming with Chad, right? The reason why this woman doesn't like Valentine's Day is because to the men that she chooses to mess with, she means nothing to them on Valentine's Day, right? Like, when girls complain about like Valentine's Day and they don't get treated special and stuff like that, all I really hear is that you're choosing men who aren't interested in you. Because there are other men available to you who would take you out for a nice day on Valentine's Day. So if your Valentine's days suck, maybe you should start having some realistic standards. Maybe don't go after the guy who's over 6 foot making 6 figures, and you wouldn't necessarily have these issues. But let's continue.
no one has ever made Valentine's Day 1 special or 2 something worth celebrating. And I really only believe in love because of the way that I love.
I cannot stand this crap, man. This is the one thing that like really gets me in these videos, is like, if these girls want to make terrible decisions, if dudes want to go out here and simp and make terrible decisions, it's like, okay, fine, right? But the thing that really does my head in is when you hear these women like say that they have moral superiority, right? If you guys didn't catch that, she says that she believes in love because of the way that she loves, as if she's like the person who has an upstanding moral high ground to sit on here when she's choosing dudes who have no interest in her. She's choosing men who she is essentially a Tuesday night AM call to, and then she complains about the results, and then she says that she believes in love because of the way she loves. You have no idea what love is. Like, it's ridiculous.
Not because somebody's dusty ass son has showed me any different.
Excited to share with you tall guy conversation. So this is proof that tall guys, that 6'9" guy that looks like Nickelback, they feel like they have to have no personality aside from being tall. Did my standard opening, not bad, you. I'm like, okay, nothing to respond to. I'm good, I'm alive, no complaints, I have a good life. Good to hear. That's a lot.
Look at this, guys, okay? So first off, she says, you know, dudes who are very tall, they feel like they don't have to bring anything, like, you know, they don't have to have personality or anything. How do you think that pretty much every single woman on a dating app acts? Right? Like, they act the exact same way that this man acts towards you. And this is why I have no empathy for the situation. That's number one. Number two, she says that she's frustrated with this guy, right? He feels like he has to bring nothing to the table, blah, blah, blah. But look at the messages, guys. You see, this is what happens when you're attractive, okay? There's no need to even read what's being said here, okay? Just look at the length of the messages and then compare them. Look at this, okay? So she has sent like a mini paragraph here, right? 2 more fat messages, and he sent one-liners. And then even though he said only one-liners, she continues to message him, right? That's what it means to be attractive, guys. Girls will do all of this investment, and you don't have to do anything. Look at that.
I'm good, I'm alive, no complaints, I have a good life. Good to hear. That's the last I heard from him. I'm like, okay, let me reach out again, see what else he has to offer.
Yeah, let me just see if I could. Like, it's ridiculous. When the man is attractive, oh, she'll send boatloads of messages. She'll reach out again from a really blunt response. Okay? Like, it literally doesn't matter.
What's on tap for this weekend? Your number. Is that a statement? Is it a question? Is it your goals? That's your goal for the weekend? I will say you're minimalist when it comes to conversation. Well, I'm not on.
Listen to her, guys. She's complaining about the dynamic, but yet here she is in said dynamic, continuing to invest in the conversation. Really weird how that works, guys. It's almost as if they don't even like. This is why, like, you can listen to people, but it's just far more efficient to just look at what they do, because you will waste. I know dudes, man. I know dudes who have wasted like 20 years of their life because they listen to what people say rather than what they do. And I don't think you should go around here obviously being cynical of every, just assuming that people have bad intentions, right? That's going to suck for your mental health, if anything, guys, okay? But just understand that there's a huge difference between what people say and what they actually do. And this is one very clear example.
On much. That's why I suggested we exchange numbers. Like, was that a suggestion? You're not on much, but when you are on, you can talk like a human. And I was like, oh, I guess that's what was meant by your blunt statement and not the polite and communicative. Hey, I'm not here much. Would it be cool if we exchanged numbers? I'm nothing if not polite. I have not seen anything that was polite so far. So I said, I haven't seen it yet. Ouch. Your two-word answers and lack of any reciprocal responses have failed you. Like I said, I'm not on here much. So when you are on here, you can't speak like you're not a robot? It's much harder to keep all the conversations going. Texting is too personal. Sorry, Kevin, that you're a boy and you don't.
She calls him an F-boy. But here she is continuing to invest so largely into this conversation. It's incredibly stupid, guys. And you see, this guy understands that talking is nothing, right? Like, this guy understands that there's no point sitting on it. He's just going to use her for some fun and then move on. And this is the way that you do it. Like, in my view, if he's just trying to have fun with her, he's talking too much. But like, guys who know the game, they don't want to sit here talking with you. Okay, you are not someone, like, I don't know how old this woman is, but she looked to be significantly older. It's like, why on earth would he just sit here wanting to have a continued conversation with you? Right? Like, notice how the girl's pushing for the connection? It's disgusting.
I don't know who you're talking to at any given moment.
So
I don't know why she's crying, as if she didn't get with the quote-unquote bum. So look at this, what she's saying right here. So she's got her crocodile tears on, and she says, when a whole bum gets to claim you as his baby mother for the rest of your lives, but you got with him. So, like, I fail to see the logic here. It's just like, let me just cry, right, to remove accountability from myself. Let me just say, oh, you know what, I'm going to throw up tears instead of saying that, oh, I have a terrible selection in men, I probably should have made a better decision. No, none of that. It's all like, I'm a victim, the man sucks, and I had nothing to do with the result of the situation.
So if you're...
Do you guys ever, like, you see this, right? Sorry, before we continue, guys, like, I'll continue in a sec, okay? But when I see this, like, I just laugh. Like, I really do. Like, I wish I could look at these tears and go, oh, you know what? I feel sorry for you. But I don't, because you're the one that made the decision. And I think a lot of men, like, they eventually come to the realization that, like, yeah, wait a minute. Like, why do I feel sorry for these individuals? You know, why would you guys spend your empathy, your concern, you know, your feelings to empathize with someone who does this crap to themselves? Like, isn't it just much easier to laugh, guys? Like, it's funny. It really is funny.
So if you're starting to see a guy, you guys add each other on Instagram, you know, things are going really good.
Good.
Go check his follow list. Go see who he's following. He's following a bunch of, like, half-naked girls. Run.
Yeah, she says run, but she's going to continue to talk to said man. You see, you hear girls complain all the time about like, oh, the dude that they're seeing follows a bunch of girls, or he does all this and he does all that. It's like, you could choose men that would be faithful to you, but you just don't want them. So like, hey, you can continue to go and chase those guys who are following these all these girls on Instagram. But again, I have no sympathy. Like, it's really obvious. Like, these girls think that it's really not obvious, but again, you can spot the cheaters, you can spot the liars, you can spot the scammers, but all these girls are like, oh, you know, he's 6'4", he's 6'5", maybe I just a little bit of a taste, just a little bit of a try, and then they continue to do that over and over again, and then they cry when they can't secure a relationship. Truly hilarious stuff. But guys, let's jump into today's article. I've got a bit of an interesting one pulled up here today that I wanted to show you guys. Now, this is I saw this on the YouTube channel, Strong Successful Male. I'm sure a lot of you guys watch him. Fantastic content creator, very consistent. And he covered this article right here. And I thought this would be an interesting one to go over with you guys. And this is written by a man named Christopher Kokoski. I'm not too sure. Kokoski, I think that is, in February, okay? And he outlines one of the biggest issues in dating right now, and that is the inflated self-value. Okay, so he writes, inflated self-value is a massive modern dating problem. Personal perception is out of control. Now, before we even jump into this, guys, I just really want to preface this by saying that one of the reasons why you know, these girls have such a high level of entitlement is because men just go out here and validate them and like, they can go on a dating app and secure 500 likes. You know what I mean? Like, it's no issue. If you guys think that I'm lying through my teeth right here, I would encourage you, just go and make a Tinder account as a female, right? And then just like put a picture of like a woman's hand or something. You'll probably get more matches than you looking good as a man in your photos. Just like set your name to Kate and like, you're new and you're shy, and you'll get more matches than any dude. It's really ridiculous. But let's take a listen to what this man has to say in his article here. And I believe he was a dating coach. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure SSM said that he was a dating coach. So let's take a read. We have a massive ego problem in modern dating. After teaching evidence-based relationship skills for 13 years and dating for nearly 40 years, it's never been more obvious. Namely, inflated self-value triggers both men and women to establish unrealistic dating goals while simultaneously rejecting 90% of potential partners because, quote-unquote, we deserve better. Kick back, grab your favorite beverage, and let's talk about it. What is inflated self-value? First of all, let's define the major issue. Inflated self-worth is feeling superior to other people because of an unrealistic valuation of ourselves. In other words, many people strut around like they are perfect 10s. It's based on the self-assessment bias, well known and well studied in psychological circles. For example, at the extreme, narcissists think that they are literally better than everyone else as they seek out ways to demonstrate and demand their superiority. Even many non-narcissists feel entitled to a lifestyle and to partners far outside of their ability to attract long-term. I think that this man could not have put this any better, okay? A lot of these girls, they have no hope of securing that Chad for long-term. You see what I'm saying, guys? Because these Chads, these dudes that these women are attracted to, these are not long-term dating strategies that these women are doing. They're going out here, they're saying, oh, okay, who's fun, who's attractive, who's going to give me the butterflies, like we saw at the beginning of today's video, okay? And then they go out there seeking those butterflies, seeking those attractive men, but they can't keep around those men for long periods of time. And I'll say this, guys. There's probably a good bunch of you right now watching this. You know, maybe you've got your money up, maybe you're looking good, and you've got options with girls. And you might sit there and you might say to yourself, why on earth would I deal with these entitled individuals outside of some fun? And I don't have an answer for that because I don't think there is one. It's like, why on earth would you invest and risk so much for people who feel entitled to essentially half your crap, you know? But let's continue. Oh, we might attract someone temporarily to us for a one-night stand or casual dating, but they don't want to commit to us. We believe our own BS. That's the simplest definition of inflated value. We live in an age of entitlement as opposed to an age of enlightenment, says Bill Bailey. It's not that we're all big-headed egocentric maniacs. Liking yourself is not a problem. It's natural to feel confident and proud about yourself. In fact, most people with low self-esteem remain single their entire lives. That being said, when you also have an unrealistic definition of your personal value, your dating life also suffers. You are quote-unquote too big for your britches. You are like the 5-year-old defiantly trying to power wash the house. You're going to lose control, make a mess, and then blame the tool, not the user. We confuse our feelings with facts, but facts matter in the real world. If you jump off of a 10-story building, it doesn't matter how strongly you believe you can fly, you are still going to fall. And I think that this man has written this perfectly right here, guys, because this is the story of a lot of these girls who go out in modern dating. Okay, they think that they're all that, and yeah, they can get some attention from a guy here and there, they can have some fun with him, but as soon as the talk of commitment comes up, the men don't want to commit. Because what's happening, guys, is girls are splitting men into two categories, and one is significantly smaller than the other category. Okay, the men that they'll get with, the men that they want to be with, and the guys who they figure, oh, I can just push all these dudes to the side, and I can come back later if I really need be. But the problem is, when you treat men like garbage, when you think that you're all that, no guy wants to deal with you. Because the guys at the top figure, hey, why would I deal with you long term when I can just get another one of you? And the guys at the quote unquote bottom, which a lot of these men, truthfully, they're not at the bottom. Like a lot of men have good values. They care about family. They care about friends. A lot of men are stable. But these girls will say, oh, he's not worth it because he's not making 6 figures. These men don't want to deal with you either because your personality is terrible. So when you come crying around when you're 35, you're going to run into issues. Let's continue. Why does inflated value destroy dating? Inflated value destroys dating by shifting blame, ignoring personal responsibility, and encasing ourselves inside a delusional bubble where self-awareness and introspection do not exist. Men and women so often blame the opposite gender for all of their dating problems. They see mirages in the mirror instead of their own relationship market value. They trade reality for a mental metaverse. Inflated value gives us unattractive attitudes and aspirations. Reformed quote-unquote nice guys puff up their chests, deepen their voice, and pretend alpha male energy. Women chase the top percentage of men who predictably don't commit or treat them like crap. Both men and women ignore average-looking matches. You know, I've got a slight disagreement here. I think a lot of men would be happy having a relationship with a girl, even if she looks average and she's not crazy. I really don't think that most men ask for a lot. I think most men are not, going around being alpha males, trying to puff up their chests and all this kind of crap. Most guys would be content with a relationship with a girl who looks halfway decent and isn't crazy. And like, if, that last one might be a little bit difficult to come by these days, but you see my point here, guys. I think really men do not ask for a lot in relationships. It's very, very simple. Everyone thinks lowering their standards means settling, when it really means dating realistically based on our available options. We say there's nobody good out there, but the reality is there's nobody that we want that wants us. If we reduce unrealistic standards, we can still have high standards that actually apply to the real world. For example, I can confidently assert that I will only date 22-year-old supermodels, but all that will ensure is that I, leave alone. I mean, that's a fantastic way to put it, right? A lot of these girls, like, they might be able to secure dudes in the moment, but there's a reason why I, as well as, many other content creators will say that these girls will end up alone. Like they will end up, they'll get to the end of their life and they'll go, you know what? I don't have a husband. I don't have kids. And who do they turn around and blame at the end of it? It really is the men that they turn around and blame. They say, oh, how come men don't want me? Blah, blah, blah. Men never invest into me, like the woman that we saw earlier today, guys, who was complaining about her Valentine's Day sucking. It's like, yeah, of course they suck because you choose men who don't want you. Blah, blah, blah. When you start to look for inflated value, you see it everywhere. It's obvious outside of dating. If that $5 meal deal at your favorite fast food joint pumped up the price to $15, you would notice. If gas prices surged to $20 a gallon, there might be chaos in the streets. Interesting. But when it comes to more subjective areas of life, such as dating, we blindly accept our self-delusions. It's easier to spot in others than in ourselves. We think that we can still attract the same caliber of people at 45 that we could pull at 25. We write dating profile bios as if our 95 Chevy is worth the same as a 2022 Porsche. There is no negotiation, no compromise. If someone approaches us with less than $100,000, we leave. And he goes on with his little analogy here. And I think that this is a perfect assessment of where modern dating is at, to be honest with you guys. We might read this section and then we will call today's episode there. Signs of inflated value. It's easy to mistake inflated value for confidence, but the two are quite different. Confidence is rooted in reality. It doesn't ignore dating market conditions. Instead, it calculates dating market value based on our social position relative to everyone else. When you have confidence, your self-worth aligns with the market. This new meta system is very much in favor of the self, but a self that is based on a proper sense of dignity, not an inflated ego. A person who dare not admit that he is wrong inflates his own ego, but weakens his self. That is a fantastic quote by a man called Edward de Bono, apparently. Don't know who that is, but fantastic quote, to be honest. Someone might have an inflated sense of self-worth if he or she starts bragging about being a high-value man or a high-value woman without any objective facts to back it up. If you make several hundred thousands or millions of dollars per year, fall perfectly into traditional standards of beauty, and exist as an exceptional human being, then okay, maybe you are high value. Everyone has value, but not everyone can exist at the top of a chart. By definition, the largest group on the chart is the average group. Guys, we are going to be calling today's episode there. Remember to leave your thoughts and your comments to some of the things that we have covered today. If you guys want to see a link to that article, I will put it in the video description. Hopefully I remember. But otherwise, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves. Come and join us on Locals. Subscribe on your way out. Leave your thoughts. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. Just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of today's video. Before you head out, there's just a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is that my editor, who goes through all of the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together these videos for us to endure, has started his own YouTube channel. I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the video description below, so make sure that you go and show him some support by going and giving him a sub. Also, at the very bottom of the video descriptions, there is a link for those of you who are interested in becoming an editor. I'm not sure how long I'm going to leave these applications open for, but if you're interested in working with me behind the scenes, there will be a link at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, guys, as always, don't forget to come and join us over on Locals. You guys might have noticed that a lot of YouTube content creators are kind of branching off to different platforms, and that's because we really don't know what we're allowed to say or do, and a lot of us don't really know how long we will be around for. So guys, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. It's totally free to join. There's a support option if you're interested. There's also exclusive content and stuff like that over there, but it's totally free if you're just wanting to go and join, guys. The link is in the description, so make sure that you come and join us. But as always, guys, make sure you're taking care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.